Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Natsu Comic Book. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about This Monster Wants to Eat Me, Season 1, Episode 5. Great episode. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So immediately picking up in the aftermath of last episode. I mean, obviously we kind of had that opening where I guess it was probably one of the first early memories Hinako has of Miko coming to her, like she's about to go to school, and even her aunt's like, you could take the day off if you want to. It seems like it's probably still pretty fresh after the accident, but she's like, no, you've got work to do, so I'm gonna go. It's okay. And then they get a visitor at the door, and it's Miko, and Miko's there extending out her hand, and she's always been that for Hinako, and it's kind of like, right, and even Hinako says it later on, she's always been the sun. Like every time that she felt like she's drowning in the water because of everything, Hinako's always been the sun that's floating above the water. She's always been kind of like, I guess in the metaphorical sense, it's the same thing as like the light at the end of the tunnel. She's always been that bright light that I can see, that I can almost grab towards and gravitate towards. But now to see and know everything's been fabricated, and here she is as a yokai in front of you. And so her and Shiori are duking it out. Something I never even considered is the reason why Shiori constantly fights in the form that she does. I figured it was also not to scare the hell out of Hinako, so she'd never want Hinako to see her true form, but it's also she needs to be in the water, which makes sense. You are an aquatic yokai, which puts you at a massive disadvantage versus other yokai. So that, I guess that makes me wonder, did she ever transform into her true form? I'd have to go back because I don't remember. Like when she was fighting that thing in the water, she probably did turn into her true form in that moment and then immediately reverted back to like the human-esque form. But that means she's always going to be fighting with like a fraction of her power, And I think that's easy enough to deal with small fry yokai, but something like a giant fox yokai like Miko, it's like you need to be in your real form. You'll have the advantage, but Miko is cutting her off from the water, understandably. So I just thought that was interesting. I mean, I did kind of think for a second, I wonder, could she still transform, but would there be ramifications for like pushing herself to do it? But I'm like, this would have been the time to do it if she could. But like I said, there still could be a chance. I highly doubt it, but like there's a part of my brain still thinking, well, she probably could if the situation was desperate enough. But for the most part, it's like, nah, she desperately probably needs the water to fully access her abilities. But I think it's really interesting that even partway through the fight, Miko goes over to Hinako and she's like, stay here, things could get dangerous. It's like, you are still trying to protect her. And Shiori's coming at it from the perspective of, you're the same as me. You're a yokai, but even she's like, you smell very human. And it's like, because you're surrounded yourself by these humans and stuff, you kind of blended in. It's like, oh, I guess that perfected things for you. But it's also like, you consider yourself some kind of deity here, don't you? And it's like, to some extent, she does. I mean, I did wonder about the beads, but I didn't think much of it. But we find out those beads are significant. Once again, they look like prayer type beads, so that's why I was like, they have to. That's why I was assuming she had to have some connection to like, a shrine or something. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. But because even in her fox form, she still has the beads. So, but yeah, like it's like, oh, you must be worshipped as a deity, because Shiori's like, honestly, like any other yokai, I would gobble you up. But if you are a deity, I'll kind of pay my respects to you first and then eat you, And obviously, like, Shiori's doing all the trash talking she can. But also, it's like, I think it's her way to kind of remain cool, calm, and under pressure. Cool and calm under pressure. Because I think she's also trying to, like, it's a psychological battle where I'm like poking at you because I want you to give into your rage because I angered you. So if I'm angering you, it leaves you like more malleable for me to use this opportunity to try and slip into the water to kind of end things. But partway through the battle, before things could get too serious, like before they could really clash, Hinako intervenes because she doesn't want anything to happen. Because it's like, this person is my precious friend, and yes, everything's complicated right now, but everything that she was and all she has been for you for as long as you can remember, even though that's all fake, which we still don't have a clear answer of when she directly got involved in Hinako's life. I'll get to that in a second too, but the moment like, it's revealed that Hinako has like a cutter in her hand, Miko immediately transforms into her human form, because I think for her it's like, as long as I'm in my human form, I can't fully like it at least draws back some of the yokai hunger, because she's able to be like, right, I mean, because I think being in your full state, you probably completely like, she still has some of her like awareness and consciousness even in her full yokai form, but like being in that form probably lends to you mainly like your yokai instincts are probably the most palpable and in control in that moment. So she wants to try and reduce that. And before Hinako could go over, Shiori's like, no, if you go over there, yes, she looks like she's in pain, but she'll be in more pain if you go over there. It's like, wow, turning yourself back into your human form just to not go after Hinako. But it's like, see, at the end of the day, no matter what you are, no matter how you're worshipped here, at the end of the day, you are just a yokai, that those instincts are there in you. You're no different than me. It's like, oh, is that what you're planning to do? Were you planning to like basically get closer and do the same thing as me? It's like, wow, I thought, and she kind of was like, almost like, wow, I thought I was original, but here you are. You've been playing the long game. You've been in Hinako's life longer than I have, and you've been doing the same thing. But Miko comes from the perspective of, I'm trying to grant a wish to her family, and it even says their name isn't even. Hinako's like, wait, how do you know my family? She's like, that doesn't make sense. I mean, there's never been anything showcased that says that like yokai can. I mean, yes, they can like cast a spell over your memories and stuff like that, but like, there's not been anything that's clearly been like. I guess that means she's never broached the conversation then for her to be like, wait, how do you know my family's name? Because I guess Hinako's always just talked about them in general references. She's probably never uttered their names, because probably uttering their names would be too painful. So she probably hasn't. And it's just like, I just think that's so fascinating. I mean, I'm sure there's other ways to get that information, but like on a mystical level of just like extracting that information from your head or whatever, like I'm sure that'd be something that kind of would be considered, but it hasn't been showcased that they can do that. But it turns out she's been worshipped as a deity. What'd she call her? Was it Okitsune? I think was what she called her. She was like, my family called her that. We would pray at like this little shrine in our neighborhood time and time again. In fact, we went there to pray the day before the trip, before, that would ultimately lead to her family's death. And that's where Miko comes into place, because Miko like has so much regret of like, because it's like, yeah, your family would stop by all the time. She's like, I would distinctly remember. So she's always been captivated by Hinako and her family. And so when Hinako was the only one to return, she felt a sense of responsibility and guilt, because I couldn't, this one little wish to keep you guys safe. Because at the end of the day, I might be worshipped as a god, people pray here, but at the end of the day, I'm a yokai. Like, what power do I really have? Like, yes, I can help out people here and there, but like, it's not like I'm an actual god of fortune or whatever that can bring good fortune. It's like, I couldn't do anything for you. And so, and it does make it seem like she probably has only recently gotten into Hinako's life. From prior to this, she's always probably just watched from afar, but maybe she started seeing like so many yokai gravitating around, because that's what I was also thinking this episode too. Before we got to that, I was like, well, if she hasn't been in her life the entire time, because if that's all been fake, then what has protected Hinako from all the yokai up until now? Because I'm like, it can't just be a recent thing that yokai's coming after her. There had to be something about her, even after losing her parents, that attracted other yokai. But it's like, yeah, Hinako's probably been protecting her from the sidelines the entire time, but maybe it got so bad where it's like, I have to directly get involved in your life, because that's the only way I can keep you safe, and it's the best way to honor that wish. And like, I probably, up until this certain point in time, I thought I could handle things from far away, but realized I need to be up close and personal to you to make it happen. Because that's the thing, because like, when we look at her, because I was about to say, like, could it be a thing of she implanted the memories like she's always been there, but then like, was she actually there? But I'm like, no, she wasn't. Like, the whole point was, even those childhood memories of post-accident, she wasn't there. She wasn't really there. Like, pre-accident, sure, but post-accident, like, those memories aren't real either. So it had to be super recent that she, like I said, directly got involved in her life. So I'm wondering what was the inciting incident that like made her consider doing that instead of watching from afar like she always has. Maybe there was always a limit to what she could do from far away and being closer. Because I think maybe it's also because, like I said, guilt and stuff like that, but maybe there's also a part of her that wanted to kind of enjoy human life too. It's like maybe she started it with like, I'm gonna protect Hinako like directly, but then it's like I actually started enjoying the human experience and being around her. So, and I became kind of her foundation and the sun for her. So it's like I couldn't just leave her alone anymore. I just had to keep going. But you know, it's for Hinako's sake, but also for her own selfish desires. I think it was interesting too. Now we also have context, because I kept being like, oh, why is Miko always missing school? And I was like, maybe she's fighting yokai and getting injured. It's more that as a yokai being around Hinako, she took time away to kind of deal with herself. Like the separation from Hinako made her less likely to like devour her. Because I guess she could stop herself from eating like any other human. Because we don't know what she eats to survive. That is something interesting too. Like, because she even admits she used to just be a man-eating yokai until a monk captured her and forced her to start serving and helping people. So that's where the beads come from. And ever since then, she was kind of forced to do it. But as time went on, she's done it of her own free will of like, that's how people see me now. And I want to I enjoy being seen that way and being able to help people, you know. For a second, I was almost wondering, I'm like, you don't think like Hinako's family are descendants from that particular monk? I wonder, are there, well, being a monk, I doubt he has any family, any lineage to continue, so I highly doubt that. Because monks are supposed to be celibate, like priests are, right? Maybe that's my misunderstanding. So I was like, I'd assume he wouldn't have any family. He's probably the last of his bloodline. I mean, might have, who knows? I was about to say like he could have extended family, but no direct bloodline from him, his line of the family. Like maybe he has extended family, like siblings or other people in his family, and that bloodline continue, but not in the capacity that I was thinking. Because I was about to say like that'd be interesting if Hinako was like descended from that bloodline, because that might also play into why. Like I said, some of the questions I had last episode about like the yokai blood and why she was able to see it and stuff like that. Is it just because her direct, like, I wonder, is it being in around Miko and Shiori that played a part in that, or is there something else? Was it the being in the boundary between life and death that kind of led to that, the trauma of it? And I mean, like I said, I'd assume it's just a thing of also like yokai choose when and where stuff is visible to like normal humans and stuff. So but I feel like there's got to be some extra to Hinako just happening to be in the middle of all of this. Like why her blood is so tantalizing to so many yokais and stuff like that. But it could just be like I'm reading way too much into it. But it's just curiosity of making me wonder. It's like, is there more to it, or is it just kind of like hand waved away or something like that? Either way, I went on that massive diatribe. I think the point I was bringing up previously before I went on it was bringing up like, oh, what does Miko eat? But also like, oh, her staying away from you because she doesn't want to give in to her instincts. And now even Hinako's like, oh, that's why I've caused you so much pain. It's my fault. But Hinako was like, no, it's not your fault. Like, don't blame yourself. And even Shiori trying to finish Miko off because it's like, hey, I'm actually doing you a service because eventually you can't just go back to everything being fine and normal. Now that we know the truth, you're able to control yourself to some extent, but eventually your appetite will get the best of you and once you try to take a bite out of Hinako. So rather than living with that regret, I might as well show you the mercy and put you out of your misery here and now. But Hinako stops her because at the end of the day, even with all the fake memories, she doesn't care about all that because it's like you still were that person for her. You've always been her son, and it's like I want you still in my life. And then, and even Shiori having to like lament and give like concede is the word I'm looking for. She has to concede in this moment because it's like, well, I can't kill her, but obviously it's like she wants to protect her. Once again, it's just so interesting, like the yokai that has protected her all this time trying not to eat her versus the yokai that's recently protecting her for the purposes of eating her. And obviously, Miko is still coming from the perspective of not knowing the deal and arrangement that Hinako and Shiori has. Because I doubt Miko knows like she probably has some thoughts on like how deep, Hinako's sadness is, and that's more motivation to stay by her side, but probably doesn't know like how much she's seeking death. But just like Shiori could smell, like, as she put it, like a beach whale rotting, maybe Miko can smell that as well, and try to compensate for that as much as possible by being there for Miko as much as possible. I mean, Hinako as much as possible. But the episode ends with Miko transforming, being like, "You're so gullible. Like, the fact of the matter is, like, you being who you are, of course that's going to be like a lot of bad yokai are going to take advantage of that." And she transforms and she acts like she's about to bite, and Shiori like partially transforms her body, and we hear the crunch. I don't think it's what we think it is. I think it might be a thing of making parallels to the summer Hikaru died, because I have previously. I'm wondering this is going to be kind of similar thing. Was it episode 8 it happened? It was like 7 or 8 where Hikaru did a thing to try and mitigate any attempts at devouring or hurting anyone. I wonder if Miko's going to do a similar thing in this moment. Like what we heard, maybe that was her like biting herself and kind of making a declaration in this moment, or maybe something else happens. It's interesting considering, like, once again, she's felt like she's been so alone and drowning, but then Miko's the sun. But we see like Miko surrounded by all these other people, and I guess because Miko brings all those other people around, it surrounds Hinako more. But part of me was wondering, because she is the sun, does that in fact cast a shadow over Hinako? And even Hinako thinks like, and that's great and everything what Miko's been to me, but she says she does have a regret, and she starts thinking about Shiori. That I think like the thing that binds them together, and I think like, because Shiori is able to be something for Hinako in a way that Miko can't. She serves like a completely different purpose in her life, kind of, because she was able to give Hinako something that even Miko wasn't able to. And I'm wondering if it's Hinako realizing like there's more to this complicated dynamic between me and Shiori, and those feelings, I don't know what they really are. And it's like, maybe there's a part of her being like, my biggest regret is like, maybe it's like, despite everything in my life, Miko still hasn't been able to kind of keep me wanting to live. Despite everything, I still had that regret of living and surviving on my own. But maybe it's also still like, my regret is also like that Shiori's not the one that killed me. That was kind of our promise, and it's a thing that connects us that is pivotal to me, and it's played a massive role in me being able to smile and look at things and live life a little bit differently than I had previously. I don't know. I'm interested to see where that kind of goes next episode. And then finally, we also had that post-credit scene. So I'm curious to see, I guess we're going to get more of these going forward, maybe. Very similar to the most recent season of Kaiju number 8. The last minute or so of the episodes, post-credit-wise, are these little jokey comedy bits. So I thought maybe the one for Miko last episode was the only one we're going to get. But since we got one with Shiori this episode, maybe we're just going to get them for the rest of the season. Maybe, maybe not. But this one in particular focused on Shiori's, transformation. Sorry, I struggled there. And talking about how she's able to choose what she wants. It's like, oh, you choose to look like that? It's like, yeah. Because she feels like this particular look, which I guess kind of implies she's always looked like this. I mean, to be fair, Miko's always had the form she's had, because those forms allow you to blend in a lot more, and it's almost like they're timeless era type of look. So that's why Shiori's always gravitated towards this one. But then she's like, yeah, I can change into other stuff too. I could be this. I could be like, oh, older, and I could be in teacher mode. Or she could be like, oh, I could be younger. But that obviously limits her to what she can do. Specifically, the older one probably has its limits as well, but definitely on the younger side. It's like, which one do you prefer? And Hinako's like, I prefer default mode. It's mainly because she can't stand the transformation. It's the changing. It's fine. It's just the process of transformation of like, you can hear her bones cracking and breaking. And it's like, seeing that is so disturbing. And it's like, I never want to see it again. And I love Shiori's like, oh my god, I knew you'd like the default. I knew that's the one you would like. And it's like, she legitimately thinks that. I love that. It's like, that's what she said, and that's what she means. She does truly believe Hinako wants that. It's rather than it being like, I just don't want to see you transform anymore, because it's horrendous to look at. So Just thought that was kind of like a funny, but also very insightful bit. I thought was kind of interesting. And I brought this up previously at last episode too. I'm curious, are those things from the manga being adapted, or are those just little bits that they're making specifically for the anime? Because now I'm like, oh, if it continues to be a thing, I feel like it's probably going to more so be like it's just something original for the anime to tie at the end. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I am very, very interested to see where the next episode takes us going forward with all of this. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Until the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.